Most people think they're calm until someone threatens their image and they explode or collapse. Jung uncovered something far darker, a rare kind of mind that can't be provoked, not by insults, betrayal, or public humiliation. It doesn't suppress emotion. It cuts the strings that let others control it. Learn how this mind is built and become untouchable. Picture this. A boss calls someone useless in front of their entire team. The room goes silent. Everyone waits for the collapse. Tears, rage, anything, nothing. The target just looks at him and says, "What's going on inside you that made you need to say that?" No shaking voice, no forced smile, just stillness. The insult hits the air and dies like trying to punch smoke. Later they explain it felt like watching a storm through glass, seeing every detail, feeling the sting, but untouched at the center. This wasn't numbness, it was separation. Their worth wasn't up for negotiation, so the attack had nowhere to land. Jung saw this in a few rare people. He said it was the first sign that the psyche had stabilized, what he called individuation, not controlling emotion, dismantling the hooks that let others control it. And it started with one shift that rewired how they saw every trigger, what Jung called the shadow mirror. Jung noticed something. The people hardest to provoke all shared one pattern. They didn't see insults as attacks. They saw them as mirrors. Every judgment, every jab was treated as a reflection of the attacker's hidden self, not a verdict on their worth. Jung called this shadow projection. What people hate most in others is usually what they've buried in themselves. Rage at selfishness often hides buried needs. Contempt for weakness often masks fear of collapse. Even praise can reveal exile. The traits someone worships are often the ones they abandoned. This is the shadow mirror, and it's the first break in the chain between trigger and reaction. Because once a comment becomes information, it stops being injury. When something hits hard, pause. Don't defend. Observe. Ask, what exactly am I judging in this person? Where does that same trait live in me, even faintly? What is this reaction trying to teach me about myself? This reframes the attack from a threat into a signal. The charge drains out. The trigger becomes data, and data can't hurt you. Most people react like machines. Trigger, response, no space, no choice. But Jung noticed something rare. In people who couldn't be provoked, there was a gap, a silent pause between stimulus and reaction. Inside that gap, instinct lost its grip and choice took its place. One described it like this: "It's like watching the insult float toward me in slow motion. I can catch it or let it pass. That gap is the kill switch. Find it, and reactivity dies before it's born." The method is simple. The discipline is brutal. Step back. Take one breath when the trigger hits. Interrupt the reflex. Watch it. See their words, tone, body tension. See your surge rise without becoming it. Then choose. Act from your values, not your impulses. Speak from center, not from heat. Do this enough times and the chain breaks. No more automatic reactions. Insults become background noise. Other people's chaos stops moving your center. But awareness alone won't hold the line. To stay unprovocable, you need boundaries strong enough to stop chaos at the edge. Awareness breaks the reflex, but without boundaries, chaos still leaks in. Jung saw this too. The unprovocable didn't just pause, they had walls, invisible edges that decided what could and couldn't enter their inner world. Most people don't have this. They absorb everything, other people's moods, other people's stress, other people's judgments. It's why they burn out. They have no border, no filter, no fortress. The unprovocable build one. They don't block emotion. They screen it, only absorb what serves growth. The rest passes through. Their emotion is theirs. It only becomes yours if you claim it. Feedback is data, not a verdict on your worth. Picture this. A boss unloads anger. Most people absorb it. One person doesn't. They watch it, name it, and let it stay where it came from. They respond with precision, not performance. The chaos bounces off. Not because they fought it, because it never got in. And here's the paradox. The stronger the fortress becomes, the more unstable people try to break it. Your calm threatens them. They need your reaction to regulate themselves, and your silence denies it. They'll escalate, goad you, mock your stillness as weakness. Because if they can break your center, they don't have to face their own instability. This is the moment most people crack, not from the attack, but from the pressure to prove they're unshaken. The unprovocable don't prove. They don't flinch. They let the storm spend itself against walls that don't move. But a fortress alone isn't enough. You can block chaos, or you can see through it. That's where projection reversal begins. A fortress keeps chaos out, but the unprovocable go further. They don't just block attacks, they decode them. Jung called this projection. People don't see others as they are. They see them as screens for what they can't face in themselves. So when someone attacks, they're not revealing truth about you. They're revealing the parts of themselves they're desperate to disown. An insult becomes an X-ray. Accusations of selfishness expose buried need. Mockery of weakness exposes hidden fear. Even contempt often points to shame. The unprovocable don't argue. They dissect. Instead of asking, "Why are they saying this about me?" they ask, "What wound is speaking through them?" The attack loses its bite because it stops being personal. It becomes a map. A rival says, "You only care about yourself." Most people defend. The unprovocable read it as fear. Fear of being seen as uncaring. Fear of being abandoned. Fear of not mattering. Seeing this doesn't make the attack pleasant. It makes it powerless. You can't be pierced by a weapon once you see it's made of fear. But this creates a final risk. Once you can see through people this clearly, it's easy to become cold. The unprovocable avoid that trap with the final layer. Seeing through attacks makes them harmless, but it creates a new danger: detachment. Once you realize most conflict is projection, people can start to look less like people and more like walking wounds. This is where most stop. They become cold, distant, above it all. The unprovocable go further. They don't stop at defense. They use every trigger as fuel. Jung called this integration. They called it something simpler: growth. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What is this trying to build in me?" They turn disruption into raw material. Mockery becomes a lesson in resilience. Rejection becomes a lesson in self-trust. Chaos becomes training weight for the nervous system. Nothing is wasted. Every hit sharpens them. Every failure forges something new. They stop flinching from difficulty. They hunt it. Because the sharper the pain, the greater the insight it can yield. The same storm that breaks others builds them. This isn't positivity. It's repurposing pain at the molecular level. It's extracting power from the exact place that once shattered you. That's emotional alchemy. Not resisting life, recycling it. And here's the paradox. When everything becomes fuel, nothing becomes threatening. The person who used to be shattered by criticism now treats it as a free lesson. The person who used to chase validation now uses absence as space to sharpen alone. This is where provocation dies completely, because the system no longer needs safety to stay stable. But this power comes with one final trap. The moment you outgrow everyone's chaos, it's easy to stop caring. The last layer prevents that. Emotional alchemy makes you powerful, but it comes with a hidden cost. Once you stop being moved by people's chaos, it's easy to stop seeing them as human. They start to feel like broken systems instead of living minds. This is where most fall. They become untouchable and unreachable. The unprovocable take one more step. They return to the world, but on their terms. Jung called it integration. They called it something simpler, being whole. They don't shield to stay safe. They stay open because they no longer fear being pierced. They can stand inside someone's storm without absorbing it. They can hold space for pain without drowning in it. They can care without carrying. This is compassionate immunity. Their presence calms rooms. Their stillness disarms conflict. People bring them chaos and walk away quieter, because nothing bounces harder than calm that can't be shaken. This is the final paradox. True strength isn't distance from people. It's proximity without contamination. The world still rages, but it can't rewrite their center. They are no longer controlled by reactions. They are anchored in choice. And that's when the war ends. Not because the world got quieter, but because their mind did. The real power isn't to stay untouched. It's to stay human, while nothing can touch you.